Welcome to Alistair Davies Golf. Today I want to talk to you about spin loft and what spin loft is and how it affects ball flight. So essentially spin loft is the difference between the angle of attack and the dynamic loft on the golf club. So dynamic loft is the actual loft that's presented to the ball at the moment of impact. So we have static loft, which is the club maker's loft on the club, and then actually when you hit the golf ball from hitting down on the ball or hitting up on the ball and having the hands behind or forward, it changes the actual loft we produce on the club. So if we use these two canes, we use the blue cane here to represent the angle of attack and the yellow cane to represent the actual dynamic loft on the club. This difference between the two is actually what we call spin loft. Now, depending on how much this gap changes in spin loft depends how much spin we put on the golf ball, hence its name. So years ago we used to talk about hitting down on the golf ball to create more spin and putting the ball back in the stance and hitting the ball softly and hitting down to reduce spin to keep the ball flight lower in the wind. Well, realistically, that doesn't change the spin on the ball at all. It only changes the kind of launch angle if these remain the same. So imagine this is 4 degrees hitting down on the ball, so there's flat, it's 4 degrees down, and this is the dynamic loft. If I swing more down on the ball, if this angle remains exactly the same, then the spin won't change. But obviously the dynamic loft will change, so the launch angle will change. If I hit up on the ball, exactly the same scenario. So how we can change this kind of spin loft and change the spin on the ball is by probably changing the shafting is the easiest way of looking at it. So if the hands are more forward at impact, the dynamic loft reduces. If the angle of attack stays the same, this vector gets smaller. And generally speaking, the smaller this vector is, the further the ball will go. So one of the best ways of doing this, one of the best drills I like to see for this is what I call the no pump drill, which would be where we start the swing from halfway back and we try and hit the golf ball without going up at all. And we have to generate all the power using our body and forward leaning the shaft. If we can get this kind of shallow angle into the ball with the hands forward, it will basically stop the angle of attack getting increased, and it will increase more shaft lean, which will reduce the spin loft and hopefully improve your ball striking and your distance that you achieve. So have a go with that drill, just starting from low, hitting the ball, trying to hit it as far as you can with no pump, and see how far you can get that ball to go.